Have you experienced a sports moment where in the last possible second of a game, an amazing play completely changes the outcome? The game I saw changed my family forever. Madam Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters, and sports fans everywhere. Sometimes life has those moments. Surviving them reminds me of playing football. You know, that's a game of strength, strategy, and skill. The game I saw and actually played in started February 11th, 2003, when my 13-year-old son Justin was told he had a fatal form of leukemia. I was blindsided, just like you. I was devastated to hear he had a 30% chance to survive. I ran to this book, and I applied everything it said. This became just like a playbook to me, and God became a coach. Ephesians 6 says that He gives us a uniform to wear in hard times. It lists shoes, a helmet, and a jersey. Well, God calls that a breastplate. That was 2,000 years ago. This ball, this was my son. His treatment demanded 6 months hospitalization. During that time, with no warning, he coded. Doctors ran from everywhere. As that alarm blared, in my mind, I could hear the coach say, "Throw the ball." I could see the defense was running right at me, and I could hear the coach say again, "You have to trust me. Throw the ball." A doctor caught it. He was feverishly working over my son to stabilize his heart rate and his blood pressure. Justin made it. He was in remission. And I learned my first NFL strategy. You have to throw the ball. Less than a year later, his leukemia returned with a vengeance. The only hope for treatment was a bone marrow transplant. We waited in the hospital with the astronomical odd of a 1 to 6 million chance that a donor would even be found. We got a call. It was Thanksgiving Day of 2004. A 32-year-old woman in Augsburg, Germany was a perfect match. The ball was now in her hands. We were about to enter the most challenging part of our game. God knew it, and He sent us a new teammate. Having heard our story on the news, 1999 Cleveland Browns NFL player Damon Dunn walked into our room with God's playbook in his hand. Damon was raised by a single mother in dire poverty. Everything he knew about survival, he had been taught on the football field. And I learned my second NFL strategy. You have to trust your teammates. Everything moved quickly after that. Justin received 10 rounds of full-body radiation. Damon pushed him to those appointments, driving his wheelchair like a race car, popping wheelies along the way. And he used those moments to teach him. And he vacillated between God's playbook and masterful NFL tactics. When Damon spoke, I envisioned him in full uniform with a stern, game face. And he said, "Justin, when you're on that field, you play with every effort and every resource. Second best is not good enough." He said, "Kid, don't you let your guard down, because every football game is won in the last 3 minutes of the game, no matter who's in the lead." Then Damon would take his place outside the window. And as he nodded, Justin would fearlessly get up from his wheelchair and take his place on the field of radiation. And I learned my third NFL strategy. You always play to win. Justin received those donor cells, but mysteriously, those cells attacked and destroyed his lungs, leaving him on life support. There was nothing else the doctors could do. Our clock was just running out. But in the last possible second of our game, God had one more play. In the last possible second, God's power fell on his body and instantly and miraculously healed him. Today, he's 23 years old and he graduated from college. If you are ever blindsided, remember this. Our coach has a strategy for you. He may ask you to throw your ball. He'll ask you, trust the teammates that I've brought you. And he will always want you to play to win. Madam Countess.